Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
Welcome to the Enrichment Hour with your host, Mike Schwager. Now here's Mike Schwager.
Well, another hour of the Enrichment Hour coming up, and it's such a pleasure to be here with you folks. And we have actually three wonderful guests, and I am so delighted to have Ellis Lucas, Pastor Ellis Lucas, on the Enrichment Hour. What a truly great man, I believe, a truly great man who I discovered only recently, and I'm so glad that I did, and his beautiful, wonderful, heart-filled wife, Peggy. Peggy is with us. And then a gentleman who they co-discovered each other through a wonderful event, and Mark is with us, and so delighted to have Mark with us. And I can only say that you're going to hear some wonderful things. And when I discovered Ellis, who is a pastor, my heart opened up. It really did. It doesn't always happen. And I suddenly realized that love is the answer, folks. Love is the answer. I'm not just saying that, but love is the answer. And Ellis is the embodiment of love, and so is Peggy, and so is Mark. And I am very grateful to have them on the show. Ellis, are you there?
I'm here, Mike, and it's good to be with you. Thank you so much for the privilege of being on your program today, Mike. It's an incredible honor.
Well, the honor and privilege is all mine, Ellis. You know, you're a tremendous fellow. And Peggy, are you there?
I am, and thanks for having me on too, Mike.
And Mark Webb, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Mike, and thank you. Thank you so much for letting us be on.
Well, thank you, Mark. So, now I want to say that Ellis is an author, and we're going to talk about an important book that he has written, and he's going to go out on a media tour to talk about this book. It's called The Potter and the Clay, and the subtitle is Hard Pressed on Every Side but Not Destroyed. Hard pressed on every side but not destroyed. And you know, folks, many of us have been through hard times, really hard times, difficult times, where we've just about given up and we wonder if God is out there. And sometimes, if we're lucky, we discovered that God has always been there for us and has, for some reason, given us the hard times in order to overcome and in order to raise ourselves to a higher level of gratitude and appreciation. And this, in essence, is Ellis's story. And I got to tell you, I had tears throughout this book, and he's got a new book coming out soon called Wanted, and we'll be hearing more about that down the road. But Ellis, I want to read a little bit about Ellis's story, and this story pertains not only to the potter and the clay, but also to Wanted. The life of someone like Ellis Lucas normally doesn't get written in books. Instead, it's written on the garbage heaps and junk piles of blighted urban areas, the saddest parts of our cities, which record the tales of those who've totally given up to alcoholism, defeat, drug addiction, and a lot more. If ever I have, and this is a gentleman by the name of Rick Simbro who's given us this quote, if ever I have seen a sinner sprinting headlong toward destruction, transformed by Christ into a wonderful life of service to the glory of God, Ellis Lucas is that man. Now, Ellis Lucas is an author and the president of His Heart United, and that's a 501c3 not-for-profit ministry. And for 24 years, drug and alcohol addictions ruined Ellis's life so completely that he himself believed there was no conceivable way of recovering enough to ever live a normal life again. And Ellis's life story was featured on the international radio program Unshackled, a drama series that aired in 2013. Today, Ellis travels the country speaking at churches and prisons and special outreach events, and he has spent the past several years organizing evangelistic outreach events for churches as well as 2- and 3-day citywide evangelistic events. His life has become a gift to life itself. Thank God. Born in Cameron, Missouri, Ellis Lucas lives in Colorado Springs, Colorado, with his beloved wife, Peggy. And for more information about having Ellis speak at your church or event, visit his heartunited.com site or ellislucas.com. And Ellis has gone through much more than I have just described. And he's been through accidents. He's been incarcerated. He's been through just about events as bad as they can get. And he has not only survived, he has triumphed. And he has triumphed because of the unbelievable majesty of higher purpose, in this case in the name and in the form of Jesus, who was an enlightened being. Now, I'm Jewish, but I can tell you that Jesus was also Jewish, and he was an enlightened being. I do believe that, folks. And there were other great enlightened beings in the world, and Jesus was high on the list. And Ellis can tell us more about that. So, Ellis, welcome to our show, dear friend. And you want to tell us how you got off the track and a little bit of the experience. I know it was a very dark experience for you, but how you somehow, God knows, how you managed to turn around with the help of higher power.
Yeah, well, gosh, Mike, thank you for, all the good things you just said there. And boy, you sure brought a lot of things to remembrance there through that little opening monologue. But, getting off the track really was the easy part. And, it started when we moved from one little town to another little town when I was 9 years old. And it wasn't a good fit, and started getting in a lot of trouble when I was real young there. And really it was just, if you had to put it into 2 words, it turned into anger and isolation for me. And, I think looking for a place where I fit in at a very, very young age, and a lot of confusion. And, it just kind of slowly progressed, digressed, I should say, there from there. And I kind of think I might have been a little ahead of my time, because today I see, suffering on, an epidemic scale from coast to coast of just, young people that are, even upper middle class families, and you name it there, Mike, and they're just broken inside. There's something missing deeply inside of these kids. And here in Colorado, we have the number 2 rated teen suicide rate here in America right now.
Is that right, Ellis?
Yeah,
wow,
it sure
know that.
was number 1, and then Las Vegas just nudged us out here the last time they took reported any reportings. But I tell you, I think back when I was growing up, Mike, there wasn't, a whole lot, of studies and ways of really understanding, teenage adolescence and, the identifying some of the warning signs of habits, where a child is probably slipping off the wrong end and going down the wrong road like there is today. But, even with all the studies and all the, all the knowledge we have today, boy, it's still just the hardest thing to, to respond to a young child or somebody that's really, really, feeling isolated and out of place in this life. And once they start down that road, it's a real challenge.
Ellis, we only have about 20 minutes left for this segment, but we'll be right back after the commercial break. Maybe when we come back, you can suggest to parents what are the warning signals, what are some of the things that they can see that can help them prevent this from happening within the families, some of the things that they can do, okay, Ellis? So we're going to be right back, and this is Mike Schwager on the Enrichment Hour. This is really important stuff, folks, and we'll be right back with Ellis and his wife and Mark on the Enrichment Hour.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, CEO and founder of VinVillage.com and the Wine and Dine Show on Vin Village Radio. Do you have a wine, event, product, or service to promote? Then contact VinVillage.com to reach thousands of wine lovers across the country. VinVillage connects like-minded wine enthusiasts with unique and exclusive wines, events, products, and services. To learn more, contact us on VinVillage.com. VinVillage is where wine lovers connect.
You may have heard me brag about Progressive Medical Center and just how much they've helped me with my health. And Dr. Goley, one thing that you've helped so many people with is migraines.
Unfortunately, there are millions and millions of Americans who are suffering with migraines and headaches, and they're debilitating because it affects the quality of their life, and they cannot function properly. At Progressive, we get the root cause because we understand that migraines could be caused by nutritional deficiencies, hormonal imbalances, believe it or not, delayed food sensitivities. And once we determine what the real reason is, we put a plan of action together with medication that we get them off slowly, and we put them on an all-natural approach, and the results are amazing.
Incredible. I mean, there's so many people that can say they don't live their lives with migraines anymore thanks to Progressive Medical Center.
And that's what's exciting and rewarding to us as physicians, because we help our patients take control of their health, and that's why they're living well.
Why don't you get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today? Don't live in pain. Don't have migraines anymore. Just go to their website, progressivemedicalcenter.com.
This is your life. Live it well.
Do you want to be a professional coach? Are you in business trying to make a real difference with people you manage or work with? Have you started a coaching practice that isn't quite getting off the ground? Get the skills you need to be a successful coach today with the Coaches Training Program from Accomplishment Coaching. The Coaches Training Program will show you how to help others focus and be more fulfilled. Whether you want to improve your company's bottom line or create a thriving coaching practice, Accomplishment Coaching can give you the distinctions and practices you need to coach others effectively today. Accomplishment Coaching has spent 6 years developing a cutting-edge coaches training program that will have you ready to coach people professionally in just 12 months, and you don't have to take time off work to do it. To find out more about the Coaches Training Program, just call 1-888-548-6813. That's 1-888-548-6813.
Gotham Books presents Marriage Rules by Harriet Lerner. The book Martha Beck calls required reading for anyone hoping to interact successfully with any other human, not just for those in romantic relationships. Get your copy wherever books and ebooks are sold, and visit harrietlerner.com to learn how to change your marriage today.
information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com. Welcome to the Enrichment Hour with your host, Mike Schwager. Now here's Mike Schwager.
And it's such a pleasure and honor to be back with Ellis Lucas, a man who literally transformed his life from the darkness to the bright light of love. And Ellis, you want to tell us a little bit about how parents can be advised to learn about the signals that their children may be giving off that might be able to help them.
Yeah, well, there's a number of things there, Mike, but, if their grades start to, to drop off in school and
right.
become withdrawn, and a lot of times they'll be overprotective of, just their internet and just their private stuff like that. And
right.
So, and anyhow, it's real easy to just get it confused with just teenage adolescents, basically, just teens growing up. But just your performance in school, the mood changes and different things like that.
Right.
They can be pretty severe too, but one of the real things that I hear parents talk to me about all the time is something I identify with when they talk to me, and I'm not a licensed psychologist or anything. I don't
right.
know all that, but people that know my story that want to meet with Peggy and I and talk, and they have former honor roll students and just kids that grew up in an incredible environment. They grew up in church, and all of a sudden they just have a whole change of attitude, and they just they just start, they have a common theme of, you guys are controlling my life, you guys are ruining my life, I hate you guys, and and everything, this is, all the stuff going wrong in my life is your fault. I don't ever want you to be a part of my life again. And for your listeners out there, if if their kids are saying that, then I would just say that I said the same things when I was that age, and I was going through all this conflict and severe troubles in my own life. And but what I actually meant in my heart was, don't give up on me now. My life's out of control, and I'm scared, and I need you more than ever. And that's really what was going on in my heart. I'm saying one thing, but deep down inside of me, I was scared, and I knew that I was in trouble with my life. It was spiraling out of control, and I didn't know what to do other than just blame somebody for it,
Yeah. Peggy, is there something you'd like to add to that?
Well, I've never had those kind of issues, with drugs, but but I think that's very good advice to get help with the kids that are having those issues, and knowing that the parents, that they love their parents, or not, they try to push away, but they still need that help because they're too young to really know how to handle those problems themselves. So I think parents need to get some help for that.
Yeah, and I might add that it's it's kind of like you have to read between the lines of what they're saying to really understand that, when they're really scared and in a desperate place there, Mike, and that's one of the real telltale signs is when they start blaming their parents and getting angry and just saying I hate you and you ruined my life, I don't want you to any part of my life, then that's an emotion speaking, but their heart is saying, I'm scared, don't give up on me now, I don't know what to do, and I need your help.
Right. Mark, you and I spoke briefly a little while ago today, and you were sharing a little bit about your background. You've been a truck driver most of your life, and tell us a little bit about how you met Ellis.
Well, I transferred up from Cape Girardeau, Missouri. I had gotten a
Speak a little louder, Mark, if you don't mind.
And I'd lost my license to be able to drive a truck anymore, and I kind of thought my life was what I knew was going to be over. I was going to have to change in my career. And I had family up in the Gower area, so they invited me to come up and stay with them, and a younger brother that had a job opportunity for me. So I transferred up from Cape Girardeau to Kansas City, and Ellis was working for a company before I started working for him. And I ran into him at the trucking company I started working for.
Okay.
And from there, we just we got to know each other a little bit.
Right.
He was a little bit of a religious man, but I didn't believe anything that he believed. So our division was pretty deep.
Okay.
He believed in something I didn't believe in. And he tried to talk to me about it, but I didn't want to hear about a God that I didn't believe in. I was the God of my own life. So we were pretty divided.
Okay.
We weren't.
And what was it about Ellis, Mark,
that he had a great personality,
turned your mind around a little bit?
He was a nice guy. He had a good heart. But we couldn't connect on any kind of a level.
Right.
But I was,
so was there something
to find out after I became born again that our fellowship was united in such a way that is a testimony of God. It proved to me that the Bible is true, that these things all possible. That you can be united with somebody, and God has a wonderful plan for your life. My life now, after I become born again, it's with Ellis is off the charts. It's beyond human understanding. We've had some awesome times together experiencing God, and I just love the guy. He's just so. Well, I just love him. He's a wonderful
folks,
man.
For those of you out there who've never met Ellis or had any time with him, Ellis Lucas is a very lovable man, and you discover that within minutes. I can vouch for that. And so, Ellis, what do you see? And now you've turned your life around, Ellis, in a huge way. Did you see that was going to happen for you?
Well, no, not at all. I mean, Mike, I was so far. I was so far just in the hole. I mean, just in so many different ways. But for 20-some years, I just deteriorated to just nothing. And I mean, the funny thing about it is today is, I see people all the time, and I talk to them, and even groups of people, and that are in a similar place where I am, and they absolutely cannot even conceive of their life amounting to anything. But I used the terminology of March 6, 1997. When I was arrested while staying at a house in Kansas City, where the SWAT team destroyed this place, and we were locked up and later charged with manufacturing methamphetamine with intent to distribute, and it was 15 years to life. And so, I tell people that, do you think on March 6, 1997, when I was sitting in that Clay County, Missouri jail there for 20 hours, that I was thinking about writing books or being on television or speaking before big crowds or
no way
holding big concerts. No, because our minds are not. We just cannot. We don't have the ability to conceive of those kinds of things. And the Bible says that eye has not seen, ears not heard, neither has it even entered into the heart of man the things that God has prepared for those that love Him. And for 20 years. I was one of those that just was convinced that God didn't even love me, that I was so bad that, there was just no possible way of even going to heaven. And it was a very desperate feeling. And, it was on March 6th where the Lord just spoke into my heart and He just said, Ellis, I love you. And boy, that was the turning point in my life right there. But, Mike, one of the greatest lessons I've ever learned since then, Mark Webb taught me. And Mark, I look at some of the division going on out here in the world today, and there's so many, or here in our own country, and there's just so much bitterness and hatred. And, it breaks my heart in a million pieces. And I wrote in Wanted that won't be released here till September, but boy, it's a great book that really goes into this, and there was 3 chapters in that book devoted to Mark and my history and stuff. Because
Ellis,
yes.
Excuse me, can you hold on to that thought, and we'll pick up right where you left off, okay? Because we want to hear that. All right,
okay.
Ellis? Okay, thanks so much. We'll be back with Ellis Lucas and his terrific wife, and Peggy, and with Mark. We'll be right back.
Thank you. By listening, you help prove that content marketing works. You need to engage your customers. We provide the solution. Contact Wade at WSRadio.com or call 866-WS-RADIO.
Hi, I'm Paul Downey, president of Senior Community Centers. Far too many seniors in San Diego go hungry each day. 2 in 5 don't have enough money for the basics. Senior Community Centers is the safety net, keeping seniors healthy and independent. But we can't do it without you. Please make a generous donation to our Fill a Plate campaign. Our goal is simple. Fill the plates of 100,000 seniors with nutritious meals. Make a gift at servingseniors.org or call 619-487-0720.
Can you imagine a world without children? A world without their smiles or their laughter? A world where children don't play or sing or dream or imagine?
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we can't imagine a world without children. That's why we're working every day to find cures for diseases that strike down children everywhere. Diseases like cancer, pediatric AIDS, and sickle cell. And we won't stop until every child is cured and every disease is defeated. Because we can't imagine a world without children. Can you?
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. To learn how you can help, log on to our website, stjude.org.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, CEO and founder of VinVillage.com and the Wine and Dine Show on Vin Village Radio. Do you have a wine, event, product, or service to promote? Then contact VinVillage.com to reach thousands of wine lovers across the country. VinVillage connects like-minded wine enthusiasts with unique and exclusive wines, events, products, and services. To learn more, contact us on VinVillage.com. VinVillage is where wine lovers connect. Hi, this is Rob Barnett, VinVillage.com, where wine lovers connect. Be sure to tune in weekly to Vin Village Radio for exclusive, in-depth interviews with the who's who in wine and food.
You take your smartphone almost everywhere you go. Now WSRadio.com can be there too. Search WS Radio in the Play Store for your Android devices or iTunes for Apple and download the WS Radio application. WSRadio.com on your phone and in your ear everywhere you go. Download the WS Radio application. Do it now. It's very easy. WSRadio.com.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Enrichment Hour with your host, Mike Schwager. Now here's Mike Schwager.
And we're back with Ellis Lucas. And Ellis is a pastor. And Ellis is, I would think is one of the least selfish people I've met in a long, long time. And his terrific wife, Peggy, who is a co-traveler with him on the road of life. And they are really interested in improving the quality of life on our planet, helping empower people, helping give people strength and hope and transforming their lives. And with them also is Mark, who discovered them on the road of life. And Mark is a great admirer of Ellis, Mark Webb, truck driver, and he's on the road of transformation. Great guy. And Ellis is very interested in helping people overcome suffering. And so many people in the world are suffering, and they really need help. They really need things like jobs and things like compassion from others and opportunities, and they need to take care of their families and themselves, and they need it badly. And there are so many people in the world who have opportunity who could easily help them. And I remember, Ellis, that you were very moved when you heard about microfinance, microcredit. There are Christian organizations who are helping the poorest of the poor among us by giving out very low-interest loans to help, for example, working women start a little business of their own so that their kids can have some food and they can start a business of their own and get off their feet. And that is something that certain Christian organizations are doing very well, like Opportunity International. And I think, and I guess, Ellis, that you will probably down the road explore that, and you would be a wonderful person to explore that. But there are many other wonderful charitable organizations that are helping poor people. Actually, there's no such thing, is there, Ellis, as a poor person? People are rich inside. They just need a boost, and because people are treasures of God, and I believe that very much. And they need to believe in themselves, and they need to believe that every human being is special, and they just need to be given the hope and faith that God can give them what they already have. And but there is so much work to do in the world, and a lot of the problems we have in the world is when people feel discouraged and that they can't do it. But the real message is the message of our spiritual leaders is that you can do it. You can do it. There's nothing that you can't do with encouragement and with hope and most of all with love. And we can help each other. We really can help each other. And selfishness and greed is not the answer. It is not the answer. So, Ellis, you want to add some tidbits to what I've just shared?
Yeah, I would love to. I was thinking about my wife, Peggy. She's a family nurse practitioner here in Colorado Springs. And
oh, yes.
You were saying that we're all rich inside, and I tell you, she went, took a 2-week trip over into India, into some of the most poverty-stricken regions of the world, and the people over there were just so in love with each other, and there's so much of, they may not have had anything, but boy, they were just full of love and community, and it was just an experience where it was so, she was so impacted that she wanted us to move there and live in a dirt floor hut ourselves there by the time she got back. And so,
Peggy, did you really go to India, Peggy?
I did, and it was such an amazing experience.
Wow, I'm impressed, Peggy.
Right, these people had nothing, yet they were very rich people in other ways. So it was a very eye-opening experience.
Mike, I was talking about, there's so many different ways that we can, especially me, and I just say this as humbly as I know how, because I credit Jesus Christ for everything that ever happened in my life. But, there's a verse in the Bible, and it's Romans 11:33, and it says that, the depth of the riches, both the wisdom and the knowledge, how unsearchable are his ways, and his judgments past finding out, and different things. And, the Lord has taught me so much about humanity and the human heart and just relationships. And, I can honestly say that, people, they struggle with how the world is and all the conflict, and that's a lot of what draws young kids into this desperate situation and everything. And, for me, though, it changed very, very rapidly and very quickly. And it changed because, I just suddenly discovered that I was the one responsible for the choices I made in this life. And, and not only did I discover that, but then I discovered that all the people I had been holding into contempt for all the bad decisions, all the complete destruction of my life, like it was, it was, it went from just, hatred to just total remorse and just, sorrow for, for the realization that, I'm holding other people, hostage here over the decisions that I made in this life. And I'm the only one that is responsible. I'm the one that decided, that made the choice.
And Ellis, let me ask you a question. What do you think brought you to that moment where you realized your own responsibility, where you kind of woke up? You know what I mean? That's a special moment for a human being, where you woke up and realized that you were the source of your own quote-unquote misery. Do you think it was your destiny that God gave you that moment?
Well, yeah, I think for sure. I think everything that went on in my life. I wouldn't say that God caused all the bad things. I would say God allowed all the bad things because
right.
And we're at a point now where all those horrible things in my life have become the greatest gift I have for helping others. But it was March 6th there, Mike, and that, when sitting in that jail cell for 20 hours, and it was like having your life flash before your eyes and just slow motion. And boy, it was right there that I just all of a sudden, just the truth and reality, and just there was nothing left. My life was taken away and it was over, and I didn't have anything else distracting my thoughts, I guess. But that's where I realized that how did my life get like this? I shouldn't be here. This shouldn't be happening. But the reality is it was happening, and that's where I was.
But that's sort of like a moment of enlightenment for you, don't you think, Ellis?
Very much so, because it was just a total transformation in my heart right there on the spot.
It's amazing, Ellis. It's amazing.
Well,
Ellis, did I ever tell you that? have you ever heard of a man, he's passed away since, by the name of Bob McCauley from Connecticut?
I don't think I have.
I wish he was still alive today so I could introduce him to you. Bob McCauley was the head of a nonprofit organization called AmeriCares. Have you heard of AmeriCares?
You know, I have heard of that.
AmeriCares was a nonprofit organization, and you know what they did? He was a very successful airplane manufacturer. But what he did was that made all the difference in his life was when he heard about people who were desperate for food, let's say in the developing world, let's say India, he did a deal with the airlines, okay, like Pan American, and American Airlines. He did a deal with them where he, within 24 hours, got 2 or 3 747s together and loaded them with food and flew them to New Delhi or to Calcutta or what have you. And it was all free, and had the food unloaded and fed the people. And guess who the person was that was behind him? Mother Teresa. Remember Mother?
Yes, absolutely.
Mother Teresa. So this is just a tiny little humorous story. Well, not humorous, but it was a touching story. So I represented Bob in publicity, and I was in his office in Connecticut one day, and I'm sitting waiting for him to get off the phone, and this is how his conversation went. Yes, Mother. Yes, Mother. We'll be right back.
Thank you. By listening, you help prove that content marketing works. You need to engage your customers. We provide the solution. Contact Wade at WSRadio.com or call 866-WS-RADIO.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, CEO and founder of VinVillage.com and the Wine and Dine Show on Vin Village Radio. Do you have a wine, event, product, or service to promote? Then contact VinVillage.com to reach thousands of wine lovers across the country. VinVillage connects like-minded wine enthusiasts with unique and exclusive wines, events, products, and services. To learn more, contact us on VinVillage.com. VinVillage is where wine lovers connect.
I've been bragging about Progressive Medical Center to you guys for years, and I'm so excited to have Dr. Ogoli with us because, Dr. Ogoli, a lot of people walk through your doors, and some of their biggest problems are they're just fatigued, they're tired all the time, and even though they're dieting and exercising, they cannot get the weight off. Why is that?
It's a combination of poor metabolism, inappropriate eating, but more importantly, it's due to a lack of education and really doing the right testing. A lot of our patients are metabolically compromised. What does that mean? Their metabolism is not functioning. The metabolism is responsible for all physical and chemical processes necessary to sustain life, and that includes energy. And without cellular energy, your body is not going to be a burning machine. Let's get back and teach our listeners to be a fat-burning machine.
It's been a lot easier to maintain my weight since Progressive Medical Center started treating me with all-natural supplements, learning proper nutrition, and that can be you today. No more frustrations about being tired or overweight. So why don't you get a hold of Progressive Medical Center today through ProgressiveMedicalCenter.com.
This is your life, live it well.
Gotham Books presents Marriage Rules by Harriet Lerner. The book Martha Beck calls required reading for anyone hoping to interact successfully with any other human, not just for those in romantic relationships. Get your copy wherever books and ebooks are sold, and visit harrietlerner.com to learn how to change your marriage today.
Small businesses are the lifeblood of America's economy. Every Thursday, SBA Radio interviews industry professionals and is dedicated to provide small businesses with timely insights and innovations. Visit www.sbaradio.us for details.
In the military, things can change in an instant. Your personal life is just the same. Just like you protect our country, you want your family protected. That's why thousands of military members trust Navy Mutual Life Insurance. Navy Mutual is nonprofit, providing current and former Navy, Marine, and Coast Guard families with life insurance, no sales fees, and no military service restrictions. Protecting members on active duty and beyond. Call 1-800-628-6011. 800-628-6011. NavyMutual.org. Insuring those who serve.
Talk to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Welcome to the Enrichment Hour with your host, Mike Schwager. Now here's Mike Schwager.
Anyhow, just to complete that little story quickly, I would be hearing Bob McCalling saying to Mother Teresa, yes, Mother, the planes are on their way. They'll be there within several hours. Have no worry. The people will be fed. Have no worry. I was so moved by that all the time. So now, Ellis and Peggy, what would you say is your highest ambition in terms of fulfilling your goals to help people? What would you say is your highest ambition?
Well, for us, ours would be to continue to just lead people out of addictions and just help people to see the value in probably what they would consider their present disaster right now. And, people don't tend to see addictions and anger and different things as a positive, but what is presently their greatest weakness, at least in my case, become my greatest strength. And I've seen that just completely transform the way people see themselves, and it just turns a light of hope on that, that there can be good coming out of their failures and their suffering right now. And I even said that once, the change in me, when it was so instant and dramatic that over time it changed everyone around me, and in essence it literally changed the world for me into a beautiful place.
Now, I want to say, having met you and having experienced your energy, Ellis, and your sincerity, and the same for you, Peg, I've never met anybody, I mean this sincerely, who I believe, and you're in the process of moving forward and to fulfill your commitment to God and to yourselves and to your church, of wanting to do more good and you have a lot of time, God willing, left in the world, to helping people to turn their lives around and to fulfill their missions in life. I've never met anybody so sincere and so committed. I really feel that you will succeed and succeed big time, and you will help many, 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 many people. Now, for folks who want to get in touch with you, what is the best way that they can reach you? You can take that, or Peggy can take that.
Actually, on the website at ellislucas.com would be a great way.
You can go to the contact page.
A little more slowly, Peggy. Say that again, slowly.
Sure, it's ellislucas.com.
And that's spelled ELLISLUCAS.
Correct.
.com.
Correct.
Okay, ellislucas.com. Is there any other website, Peggy?
HisHeartUnited.org.
Okay, HisHeartUnited, one word, .org.
Yes.
Okay, so I had earlier said .com, but it's HisHeartUnited.org, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Now, is there any? I guess you don't want to give out any phone numbers right now. Is that right?
Well, yeah.
then you'll be more besieged than ever, Ellis.
I was going to say.
I don't think you want to do that right now.
But you know, Mike, they could contact me at 816-617-7411 if they wanted to talk to me. And
okay.
But Mike, I have a real important story I wanted to share though here, and it.
Please.
Well, it was, with Mark and I tell you, I get back to how, there's so many different levels of growth in my life that the Lord has taught me and everything. But with Mark and I, we were so divided, we were so different that we could not, we literally were just almost borderline enemies. And the last thing I could have ever imagined was ever being a very close friend of Mark, let alone doing ministry together and the things that we've done. But, I wrote several chapters. I wrote one in The Potter and the Clay, and there's 3 chapters that tell this story in there. And unfortunately, I was the Christian back when we met. Mark wasn't a believer yet, and I should have knew better. I should have had a different heart, but I didn't. I grew better towards Mark, and but in the end, the Lord got a hold of both of our hearts and woke both of us up. And and then the Lord brings us together and unites us out here on a mission together, serving. And I discovered that Mark is this incredible, just articulate speaker and unbeliever. And I've always had, big bands and great bands and putting on big events all over. And so I just started dragging Mark around instead of me speaking there for many years, back in Missouri and all over. I would bring him out and have him speak anytime I could get him. And I would just play in the band and do stuff. But we was at an event in a church parking lot in St. Joseph, Missouri. And we was playing loud music, a big event, people all over the place. And over the hill came a young man that, just heard the music and walked about a mile to see what was going on. He seen Mark Webb there. Mark got this long hair, looks like Sam Elliott and sounds like him, and heard him preaching and everything. And this kid gave his life to the Lord that night and wound up being a full-time member of that church somehow. But that night he was actually on his way to commit suicide. And that's just one incredible story of many, many lives that's been changed because of these 2 stubborn hearts that God humbled and put us together. And I tell you, I wrote in Wanted that if our country, if God could do what he did with just 2 stubborn men here, and that could effect, then what would happen if our country took one day off and went out there and just, had dinner with that person they think is so different from them, or so, and just got to know and hear about their kids and stuff. It wouldn't fix everything, but it would be a different America tomorrow.
Absolutely. And that story could be a movie, easily could become a movie, a very moving film. Wow. Incredible. So, listen, that's a wonderful way to end the show, Ellis. God bless you. God bless you, Mark. God bless you, Peggy. And thank you so much for appearing on the Enrichment Channel. You're easily invited back again. And thank you so much for having been with us. This show will be archived within a few days, and I'll send you the link. But folks can just go to WSRadio.com and look at the Enrichment Hour and can just pull it off themselves. Thank you so much, Ellis and Peggy and Mark, for having been with us. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and thank you for making a huge difference in the world. I love you. Take care.
I love you too, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
I raised $8,000 to build schools for South African children.
After realizing how many people go hungry in San Diego, I now volunteer at a food pantry.
I'm spending the next year doing volunteer projects across 3 countries and helping in ways they designate to be the most helpful.
The World Link program at the Joan B. Kroc Institute for Peace and Justice recognizes the potential of youth as agents of social change. Learn how you can help youth become a generation of leaders in action at peace.sandiego.edu.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.
One person has the power to change the world, impact millions of lives, and leave a legacy for lifetimes to come. That person is you. In the New York Times bestseller, What is Your What?, Steve Olsher, award-winning author and founder of the Reinvention Workshop, reveals his proven process that has helped thousands of men and women discover, share, and monetize the one thing they were born to do. Grab your free copy now at www.whatisyourwhat.com/free. That's www.whatisyourwhat.com/free.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine, and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
Hi, Scale listener. This is David Finkel, co-host with Jeff Hoffman of Scale Your Business. I wanted to let you know that our newest book, Scale, was just released, and to encourage you to get your copy. The book will give you 7 proven principles to grow your business and get your life back. Scale will help you work less by getting your business to produce more. Get your copy online or at your local bookseller. For more information, visit us online at scaleyourbusinesstoolkit.com.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.